Hello everyone, welcome to another topic of mode of inheritance, that is X-linked disorder. So in the X-linked disorder, basically we see the X-linked dominant disorder and X-linked recessive disorder. So before going actually to the X-linked dominant disorder, X-linked recessive disorder, and there are some of the basic introduction of the X-linked disorder that you should know before actually going to the X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive individually. That will help you to understand these individual dominant and recessive disorder more in detail. So let us concentrate to the first line. The all sex-linked disorder are X-linked disorder, and almost all are recessive. So several genes are located in the male specific region of Y. All of these are related to spermatogenesis. So there may be question asked, why there is no Y-linked inheritance? So why there is no Y-linked disorder? So why there is only X-linked disorder? So for this, the X-linked disorder, or we can say the Y-linked genes, the male with mutation with affecting the Y-linked genes are usually infertile, and hence there is no Y-linked inheritance. If there is mutation in the Y-linked genes and the male become infertile, there will be the no progeny. So if there is no progeny, so the Y-linked disorder is very less, or there is no Y-linked disorder. And that's why. So we can say that the Y-linked chromosome for most of the part is not homologous to the X, and so the mutant genes on the X do not have the corresponding alleles on the Y. That's why the male is said to be homozygous for X-linked mutant genes. So these disorders are especially expressed in the male. So other various features that are present in the X-linked disorder are, you can see here, an affected male does not transmit the disorder to his sons. The affected male does not transmit disorder to his sons, but all the daughters are carrier. Son of the heterozygous women have, of course, one chance in two of receiving the mutant gene. You should know this character very well. The another character, let us move toward the character number 2. The heterozygous female usually does not express the full phenotypic change because of the paired normal allele. Because of the random inactivation of the X chromosome in the female, however, females have a variable proportion of the cell in which the mutant X chromosome is active. That's why it is remotely possible for the normal allele to be inactivated in most of the cells, permitting full expression of the heterozygous X-linked condition in the female. Much more commonly, the normal allele is inactivated in only some of the cells, and thus the heterozygous female express the disorder partially. So this is the core concept why the heterozygous female express the disease only partially. We can take a good example of this G6PD deficiency. So in G6PD deficiency, what occurs is that the G6PD deficiency is transmitted always on the X chromosome. This enzyme deficiency which predisposes to the red cell hemolysis in the patient receiving certain type of drugs. The specific type of drugs, when given to the G6PD deficiency patient, there will be the hemolysis of the RBC. So in the female, a proportion of the red cell may be derived from the precursor with inactivation of the normal allele. Such red cells are at the same risk for undergoing hemolysis as are of the red cell in the homozygous male. That's why the female is not only a carrier of this trait, but also is susceptible to drug-induced hemolytic reaction. Because of the proportion of the defective red cell in the heterozygous female depends on the random inactivation of one of the X chromosome. However, the severity of the hemolytic reaction is almost always less in heterozygous women than in the hemizygous men. So it is very important to know this character. So this is one of the example of the G6PD deficiency. So I want you to know that in the X-linked disorder, it is mainly transmitted by the heterozygous female to their sons who manifest the disease. The female are usually carrier. Usually they are protected because of the random inactivation of one of X chromosome. So that's why I have already said you that you have to know the what do you mean by heterozygous, what do you mean by homozygous, what do you mean by allele. I'm sure you know that. If you don't know this concept, then you will not know the explanation that I have done just now. So if you have trouble understanding this explanation, then I want you to read about what is mean by heterozygous, what is mean by homozygous, or what is mean by allele. Also, you have to know the detail about this pedigree chart and the different symbol I have used. At some time I can explain about the pedigree chart or the different symbol I have used, but I have generalization in mind that you already know this basic concept. So now let us move towards the individual topic, that is X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive. First I will talk about the X-linked dominant disorders. So let us now move toward the X-linked dominant disorder. The X-linked dominant disorder, it is caused by the dominant disease associated allele on the X chromosome. So you can see here it is transmitted by the affected heterozygous female to half to her sons and half her daughters, and affected male parents to all the daughter, but there is no effect in the males. Again I am going to tell you. You can look in this chart A and chart B. In the chart A and chart B, you can see, first let us discuss about the chart A. In the chart A, there is affected father. The affected father is XY, and there is no effects. There is no any disease in the mother. The mother is XX. So according to the Mendelian inheritance, Mendelian mode of inheritance, the outcome of the progeny will be, there will be the 4 progeny. The 2 will be the daughter and 2 will be the son. And you can see in the mode of inheritance is that the 2 daughters are affected, but the son are not affected. That's why the affected male parents, the affected male father always transfer 100% disease to the females, but the male children are not affected. And you can see in the chart B is that there is affected mother XX, but there is no affected father XY. The progeny here will be 2 daughters and 2 sons. But here, among the 2 daughters, 1 daughter is affected, and among the 2 sons, 1 son is affected. So the 50% male are affected and 50% female in the progeny are affected. That is the X-linked dominant disorder. So now let us move towards the X-linked recessive disorder. Before moving towards the X-linked recessive disorder, I want you to know that vitamin D resistant rickets. Vitamin D resistant rickets is one of the examples of the X-linked dominant disorder. So let us move towards the X-linked recessive disorder. Going towards the X-linked recessive, you can also see in this pedigree chart is that the X-linked recessive disorders are commonly more severe in males than in females. The females are usually carriers and males are more commonly severely affected. The females must be homozygous to be affected. The heterozygous mother always transmit the disease to their sons. There is 50% chance of the transmission of the disease. And there is no male to male transmission, and there is always skip generation in the X-linked recessive disorder. Here you can see the various X-linked recessive disorder. In the musculoskeletal disorder, there is muscular dystrophy. In the blood, there is examples of hemophilia A and B, chronic granulomatous disease, G6PD deficiency. In the immune system, you can see A-gamma globulinemia, Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. In the metabolic, there is example of diabetes insipidus, Leschnian syndrome, and in the nervous system, there is Fragile X syndrome. So these are some of the examples of the X-linked recessive disorders, and that is the pedigree chart of the X-linked recessive disorder, and there is the charts of the Mendelian inheritance, in which the heterozygous female there is 50% chance of transmission from mother to their sons. So this lecture sums up the X-linked disorder, that is X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive disorder. I hope you enjoy the lecture. Thank you.